Is called to order, and for all the people who have lost their allegiance in the last week or so, we will do the Pledge of Allegiance to reaffirm it. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands,
and one nation
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. All right. Is everyone seeing the agenda? And if there's any changes, otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
Phil makes a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay. Was that Cherie or?
Yes, that was Sri.
Okay. Yeah, Phil made the motion to approve and Cherie seconded. Is there any discussion on that motion? If not, all those in favor of the approving the agenda as it stands, say aye.
Phil says aye.
Okay. Was there one more, Cherie? And I'll say aye. Aye. Okay.
And did you get Rachel's vote as well?
We do. Okay. All those opposed, say aye. Okay. The motion carries. And as everyone had a chance to look at the February 20 meeting minutes, if there's any discussion or changes, I read through them all as I got here yesterday or today, and it looked fine to me.
Phil makes a motion to approve.
Second from Rachel.
Okay. Phil has made a motion to approve, and Rachel has seconded the motion. Is there any discussion on the minutes? If not, all those in favor of the approving the minutes as they're written, say aye, and then say your names also.
Phil says aye.
Rachel, aye.
Aye.
Okay, Bob says
Elizabeth, aye.
Okay, Elizabeth, very good. Okay, we have a unanimous approval of the minutes as they stand. Okay, the next item is the petition on the docket, which is BOA 52120-1. And the staff have, and well, here I will read it first as soon as I find it. I'm still looking. There we go. Get my ducks in a row here. The petition, and I don't know the pronunciation of the last name. Does anyone know that? Pronunciation? What is it?
Trundle.
Trundle. Okay. It's from Fred and Sandra Trundle. And it's requesting a variance to allow a structure with a height of 85 feet instead of a maximum of 35 feet pursuant to Chapter 10.4.3 and Chapter 10.4.7 of the Winona County Zoning Ordinance. And does staff have a presentation at this time?
Yes, we do. We have a short presentation just to kind of set the stage for your discussion.
Okay, thanks.
Can everybody see the PowerPoint?
I can.
Yes.
Okay. I just have a few slides here, and then I'll turn it over to the Board of Adjustment for discussion. As you mentioned, variance request is to erect a structure on a residential property with a 50-foot base plus a 35-foot symbol on top of that for a total height of 85 feet. The Winona County Zoning Ordinance standard is a 35-foot maximum height. So this would be variance to allow a structure in 50 feet above the maximum height. Here's an image submitted by the petitioner. They've been working with La Crosse Sign Company, who created this rendering. Shows the base below and the symbol that would be erected on top of that. Purpose of the height, the petitioner stated is to get above a tree line in order to make the symbol visible to travelers on Interstate 90. Here is a map of the property, highlighted in green. Trundle also own the property to the east, so it's vacant land. There's a shed in the northwest corner of that property, but otherwise it's forested with maybe a little bit of agricultural land. Their property in green is where their home is, and it directly abuts the city of St. Charles to the west. You can also see the I-90 corridor and right-of-way directly to the south. Here's a little closer view of the property. You can see a home is up in this kind of the central portion of the property. There's some tree line to the south, and the star indicates the location of the proposed structure. Park Road is the local road that accesses the site and dead ends at the Trundle's property. Let's back up and stay here just for a second. It's worth noting that there is an access easement at the end of Park Road that kind of wraps around to the southern end of the property that allows the neighbor to the west in St. Charles access to their parcel. This is just a little closer view indicating the city of St. Charles, which would be to the west, and the MnDOT parcel to the south. MnDOT right-of-way parcel. Here's a couple photos of the site showing the tree line. On the upper photo, the horizon behind the trees is the I-90 is I-90 Interstate 90 highway. To the south, or not to the south, the lower photo shows the access drive that is used as the easement to the neighbor's property, and then shows the proposed structure location, which would be just off to the right of that easement area. That's all we have for slides. The main, like I said, the main issue with the structure is the trees, as the petitioner has stated, and their desire to get that have the symbol visible to travelers on Interstate 90. The criteria in the staff report, staff would stand behind that. It was difficult to make positive findings for a number of those criteria. I think 1, 2, 3, 5, and 7 would be ones that we would draw your attention to specifically. And then there are conditions attached to the staff report should you make positive findings for each of the criteria and decide to approve the petition. With that, I will turn it back over to the chair, and I would also be available for any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Lou. And so does the petitioner wish to make a presentation at this time?
I do.
Okay, and could you state your name and address for the record?
Sure. Fred Trundle. Address is 26589 Park Road, St. Charles, Minnesota.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
And I want to be cautious of not overdoing my time, but I also want to make sure I'm being clear about why we'd like to do this. So can I be given a parameter as far as, I mean, can I speak for 12 minutes, or is that too much? I don't,
No, you can take as much time as you want, as long as it isn't several hours.
right. Well, I wish we all could be together because this is more difficult for everyone to hear, and I know there's somebody that even can't even see the PowerPoint presentation.
Right,
I do want
yes.
to step back, start with on Lou's statement about the property that you can see there highlighted now. So this is 2 acres of property that my wife and I just purchased this last year. We own and live on 2 acres that are to the north of that. So the current home that you see here on this property is now gone. All the buildings are gone except for the one closest to the star. So just so from a clarity standpoint, if someone's thinking about this. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Fred. I knew that the house was there. I couldn't quite figure out where it was on that property, but it makes sense that it's just to the north. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, no, that's fine. No problem. So we live on the 2 acres to the north that's off that picture, and there's no one that lives on that property right now. So thank you for giving me a few minutes to explain and so forth. I would like to draw your attention to the fact finding number 2 on the information that Lou and his team put together and so forth. I just want to start there and talk about the fact that the team there determined that this was consistent with the comprehensive plan test. And specifically, the team there indicated that the comprehensive plan identifies community values of agriculture, involvement, resources, cooperation, opportunity, and sustainability. And they go on to state, the proposed structure would not be inconsistent, which, if you take out the 2 negatives, means that it's consistent with the goals and policies outlined for the county in those areas. And I want you to go from there then and think about in the actual comprehensive plan document on page 4, it talks about the goals of the comprehensive plan, and one of the general goals identified there is the promotion of civic involvement by all citizens. So one of the things that's really important, I was a past teacher in the high school in St. Charles and so forth, was getting our communities involved in civic and community organizations. And one of the things that hit me as I was thinking about this report and the comprehensive plan was the symbol that this brings to the table. So this symbol basically provides for that promotion of involvement in civic organizations and churches in our community and in our county. We have 11 church congregations in the community of St. Charles and 84 separate church organizations in Winona County. Each of these organizations actually symbolize what's important to our community. And those symbols include those things pointed out by the staff person in findings number 2. The involvement of people with each other to improve their communities, the cooperation, working together to assist others, the opportunities to find a purpose in life, the sustainability of drawing families together to support each other. So the comprehensive plan identifies that involvement, cooperation, opportunity, sustainability, resources are really important for our community. And these resources, are really intricate part of our communities. The symbol provides and actually promotes that involvement. So it's important for Sandra and I to not only express our freedom of speech, or our freedom of expression, and have this symbol seen by citizens as they drive past here. There's a lot, 5,000, 6,000 people, maybe fewer now that the viruses on that go by, not only to express our expression of what's important to us, but also to remind the travelers on the highway as they go back to their communities, as well as the people in Winona County as they drive by, that right here in Winona County and in the communities they go to, there's a way for them to have involvement, have, be resources for others, cooperate together, create opportunities for purpose in life, as well as sustainability in their own lives. And this symbol will actually be so stepping away kind of from the big society. This is a good thing, and Winona County is all about 84 churches and 84 communities, 84 congregations throughout the county. From a harmony standpoint, I get the issue, is that we're putting up a brown cross and it's not a tree. But I also want to be clear about the fact that it's not a wordy billboard. It's not a gaudy color. It's one brown pole that will be seen, 35 feet tall, with one brown cross 20 feet across. It's 200 feet from the highway. So when driving by, you're going to see basically above the trees 35 feet by 20 feet. This cross was inspired by the cross that Anthony brought to my attention in Rochester. Anthony is our sign professional from La Crosse sign that's on the phone today. Mercy Hill Church Chapel in Rochester has a symbol just like this, and it extends 125 feet above the horizon with the same symbol. Again, this, if approved, will extend 35 feet above the horizon, but it does need that 50-foot pole under it to promote this community involvement to all citizens. So I understand this is a variance for height, but without that extra 50 in the bottom, it's a symbol that can't be there that represents all our communities in Winona County, an integral part of that. As far as the lighting that came up in the report, in comparison to the illustrated, to the illuminated area that's in the area, everyone, the volume of light just a short distance away is 16 times as much light that will be on this structure. And the light that comes off this structure will be indirect. So I spoke directly last week to Eric Fisher, the general manager of Whitewater Auto, who put me in touch with John Pearson, who installed the lighting at his site. So they have 3 acres. They have 30 poles with 50,000 lumens per pole for a total of 1.5 million lumens of light visible directly by travelers who are traveling by twice as close as anyone will be to my sign. They're about 100 feet away. This will be 200 feet away. So we're going to have one pole with 90,000 lumens creating a halo effect around our brown structure, and this will reflect off the structure and not be direct light. So again, travelers on the interstate are going to be within 100 feet of those lights at the auto dealership, and those lights are 24 feet up in the air. The same travelers will be traveling past our symbol if approved. The distance will be twice as far, 200 feet. The top of the bottom and the top of what they will see will simply be 35 feet from top to bottom because of the trees. That's what they're going to see above the horizon. So additional things, and you read it in Lou's report, the immediate neighbors, Heartland Community Church, is supportive. The city City of St. Charles, another immediate neighbor to the property, has no concerns about the structure or the height. Both of those two entities border this property. They are neighbors to this property. The township board was approached with this presentation back in March. If they had been opposed to it, I wouldn't be here. They also chose not to give us a supportive statement or opposed. That's their typical process with most variances that go to the county. Your staff person indicated in item number 2 that this request is consistent with the comprehensive request. So the variance number 5, the variance was identified as maybe altering the character of the locality. My perspective is this actually will complement the locality as it will draw attention to the neighbor's church. The Heartland Church is going to build 85 feet from our property. We are not a member there of that church, but we are encouraged that they're going to build close to our property where this cross may cut. And they would desire that symbol to be close to their property to draw more attention to their church. And again, given the proximity from a lighting standpoint, the $1.5 million lumens of direct light, just a short ways away, it's my perspective that this one additional structure, 90,000 lumens of indirect light is nominal. So again, I'm going to be hang on for available for questions that all of you might have, but this request is coming from Sandra and I. However, we truly believe that this is a symbol of our community. This is a symbol of who we are in St. Charles. This is a symbol of who we are in Winona County. We believe that churches are an integral, the symbol which represents churches is an integral part of our society and community, and that it is an important thing to have travelers and citizens locally recognized. Not only do we wish to express our right under the First Amendment from an expression of speech standpoint, but we also want to make certain that we are, bringing forward this symbol of hope. I'm reminded that when my wife and I took our kids and my mom, we drove to Disney World, and we stopped at a hotel in Kentucky, and it was Easter, and we asked about where to go to service the next day, and 3 adults in the room that were waiting to check.
I think we lost the audio. At least I did.
I'm back on. Elizabeth.
Okay.
I was muted there. I was muted there for a second. Can you hear me?
Hear me?
Okay.
We can hear you now.
Okay, thank you.
I
So,
can hear you.
It was you're at a hotel on a trip to Disney.
Yeah, so
That's where it cut out.
yeah, thank you. So there were some folks in the lobby, and we were asking about where to go to church the next day, and they asked us, well, why would you want to go to church? What's that about? Okay, I continue to get muted. I keep pushing the button. I'll try to. Sorry. Anyway, let me just go to the end here.
Okay. Yeah.
So this request.
Can I interrupt you for just a moment and ask that anybody who's listening, can you please put yourself on mute? I know there's a couple that are either watching on screen or have multiple devices, but we're getting a lot of feedback and echo. And so if we can, everybody mute if you're not talking, that would be very helpful.
Thank you, Stephanie. So our request for this variance is a dimensional one, not a use one. The use is okay as we understand it. But we're looking for an extra 50 feet to get this up right above the horizon so people can see it. And we truly believe I apologize. The system continues to tell me I'm muted. So I keep pushing #6. Sorry. We really feel that this symbol represents our community of St. Charles, but also Winona County in a very reasonable way that reflects positively on the comprehensive use plan for Winona County. And the 11 churches that we have in St. Charles is a big deal, and I think it's important for this symbol, which relates to churches, allows people to give thought to what does this symbol mean in their relationship and with others in their communities and so forth moving forward. I'm not trying to push my religion on anyone, but I think it's a symbol of hope at in this point of time that makes a whole lot of sense. So the staff, Lou indicated that this was consistent with the goals and policies outlined in the county comprehensive plan. The neighbors are not against it. The closest neighbor is for it. It's a simple symbol. It's not a sign. It is the right, as we understand it under the Constitution, and that for us to express ourselves. And we really feel that this fulfills the comprehensive plan goal to promote civic and community involvement by all citizens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fred. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to open the hearing to the public.
Cherie, so moved.
Okay, Cherie has moved to open the meeting to a public. Is there a second?
Rachel seconds.
Okay, Rachel has seconded to open the meeting to the public. Is there, yeah, if you're in favor, say aye.
Cherie, aye.
Rachel, I.
Okay. Bob is aye.
Phil is aye.
Okay. All those opposed, say aye. Hearing none, the meeting is open to the public. Is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against this this variance request? If there is someone, identify your name and address for the record.
So how do I answer that, Sandra?
Asking for the second time, is there anyone who wishes to speak for or against this variance?
We're muted.
For the third time, is there anyone who wishes from the public, it's open to the public now, to speak for or against this variance request? If not, I would entertain a motion to close the public meeting.
Rachel, so moved.
Okay, Rachel has moved to close the public meeting. Is there a second?
Phil will second.
Okay, Phil has seconded. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Cherie, aye.
Rachel, I.
Okay, is there anyone opposed? Say aye and identify. Okay, the meeting is closed to the public. And the board may discuss and ask each other and others the petitioners questions, etc. So if there's a general discussion now, or else we can start by going through the findings. Would everyone like to start by going through the findings?
Yes.
Maybe can I just interject there, Bob? I just have a general question, and maybe Stephanie can answer it, or...
Sure, go ahead.
So this variance would grant these individuals to put up this sign in the event that property that the sign is standing on is sold in the future. I'm assuming that variance carries over to the new owners also?
That's correct. A variance runs with the land regardless of ownership.
And is there any potential, and I don't have a problem for the record of what the Troggs are doing, but it's being requested as a personal expression symbol. So if that property were sold to somebody and their personal expression symbol was something maybe not quite so agreeable upon, we being the county would not be able to stop that, correct? If they so desire to change it.
Well, I guess that to some extent depends on, and I'm taking a quick look at the findings of fact real quick, but criteria number 1, we've always thought should bind. So basically what they're saying is that they want to have this particular symbol on the pole illuminated. So an argument could be made that condition number 1, which is the owners of the property to which this variance is issued, will abide by all representations and commitments made during the permitting process. I don't like that. I've never liked that condition. I find it very difficult to be enforceable. I don't know that our conditions are, the recommended conditions, if this were to be approved, would be stringent enough to restrict it only to a particular symbol.
Well, the reason I bring the point up is I don't know how many of you are familiar with the city of Stewartville, but you know there was a gas station that was built and had a rather large, tall sign advertising the brand of gasoline. And probably, I don't know, it's been so long already, maybe 15 years ago or so, Pure Pleasure decided to buy that building. And the sign now that used to advertise a gas station is advertising Pure Pleasure. And there was a lot of individuals in Stewartville that didn't like that one bit, but there was really nothing that they could do to stop it. And I understand where the Troggs are coming from, what their objective is, but I just always worry about in the future, if property changes hands, it may not be a cross that's on top of this tower.
Okay.
Bill, Bob, Chair Bob, this is Eric.
Yes, go ahead, Eric.
Can you hear me okay?
I can.
I guess just to offer advice, Stephanie read the condition number 1, and a lot of time that's a holistic approach of looking at the minutes of the meeting and the discussion and the staff report and the applicant's proposal. It may be a case or a suggestion that you add additional clarification onto condition number 1 to say that the variance is valid for, if you do approve it, is valid for the specific site plan and proposal as submitted. Any deviation as far as the color or message shall require a new variance. That may be one suggestion, and I guess feel free to discuss that. But that would be the only other option that I could think of to kind of more pin this down.
My concern with something along those lines, if we're going to tie it to message, is that then we're treading into First Amendment territory of regulating content.
Well, that's why I said the site plan.
Yep, site plan could be, but then we're still talking about a sign or a symbol on a pole, but without what the content is currently doesn't matter, which means that it shouldn't matter in the future either. So regulating
the structural dimensions that have been specified on the spec sheet, that is one way to avoid the First Amendment entanglements.
I think it would be very difficult to get something without allowing it to be broad enough to have any symbol on that pole, it's a difficult thing to do.
Okay, any other comments before we start running through the findings, if that's what people wish to do? Otherwise, do we wish to just do general comments, or do we wish to go through the findings one by one, or the criteria? If I don't hear anything, I will start with approval criteria number 1. The variance request is in harmony with the intent and purpose of the ordinance. Anybody have any comments on that? Go ahead.
This is Rachel. Yeah, I think that it seems like the intent of the ordinance is to limit the size and height of anything in that area, and it seems to me that to double it or to go so far outside of those limitations does not feel to me to be in harmony with the intent and purpose of the ordinance.
Okay, any other comments?
That is,
yeah, Cherie, go ahead.
You know, reading from the findings of fact and the information planning shared, clearly the structure is not designed to meld with the natural surroundings, but to stand out from them. And so in that way, I would have to say that doesn't seem in harmony with the intent and purpose of the ordinance of protecting natural land and scenic beauty.
Okay, any other comments from the board? Okay, let's...
I believe, Bob, you got to take a vote on that, because if we don't agree on that, then we wouldn't have to proceed any further.
Okay,
Regardless of whether one criteria fails, I do believe you should go through all of the criteria and discuss them.
yes, that's what I'm thinking. I think what we'll do is just go through, discuss them all, and then wait to vote. If we can vote, generally we can vote on each specific one after we go through. So I'm going to go through the second one, where the variance request is consistent with the comprehensive plan, and I think Fred did a very good job of. I was a little bit on the broadening out the broad side. So in general, how he thought it was consistent. Is there any comments on that? At least, the staff is saying at least it's not inconsistent, so that's not a, it's just plain in the middle. So, but okay, and then if there aren't any comments, I will go to 3. Has a applicant established that there are practical difficulties to complying with the official control and purposes to use the property in a reasonable manner? And you have all the staff analysis that it essentially is a whoosh, or a that there are ways to do it probably, and to meet with the 35 foot. I mean, even though obviously in this case it wouldn't, but there probably are other ways to do it. Are there any other comments? I don't wish to sway anybody here. Okay, if not, we'll go on to, if I can find it, for the variance request is due to special conditions or circumstances unique to the property, not created by the owners of the property since enactment of this ordinance.
This is Cherie.
Yes.
Trees, the problem, it seems that the reason for the variance request is because of the trees along the highway. But trees, those are common. That's not unique just to that property.
Right. And I understand, and my or anybody else's personal wish but it's not due to, I mean, at least that's it was staff analysis, and I'm agreeing with that it's not due to circumstances unique to their property that they have no control over. Number 5, the variance will not alter the essential character of the locality nor substantially impair property values or the public health, safety, or welfare in the vicinity. Anybody have a comment? I think it does. You know, any structure, you know, whether it's a concrete plant or a cell phone tower, does alter the character of the surrounding area, and then it's how much impact it has on the property values, et cetera, and that's hard to see, and that might be in the eye of the beholder of some residents. The township, which is common, but sometimes they do support, and sometimes they make no comment just because they don't want to, they don't want to be on record one way or another for many reasons. But that the township did not endorse this is, I think, is significant. And also that no neighbors had objections is significant the other way. So, so that's just where it's at. Anybody else have a comment?
Sheree, it
Yes.
seems to me that anything that's that high up in the air and is lit up at night is definitely going to alter the view for anyone around.
Okay, thank you. I guess I was looking at it too, and forms say they wanted to put up a cell tower, like, which should, maybe a lot higher, 200 feet or something. How would you look at this differently for the cell tower as opposed to this symbol or display?
Bob, this is Eric from
Yes.
City Planning. That would be cell towers, radio towers are handled through a conditional use permit process.
Okay, so that takes care of that. All right, thanks, Eric. Let's see. I'm just going to keep moving on, and we can. And anybody on the board at any time, you can go back or say anything or make any comment or ask for clarification from the petitioners also. Number 6, economic considerations alone do not constitute practical difficulties. And personally, I didn't see anything about economic issues. Anybody else?
No, this doesn't seem to be based on economics.
Okay, that's Cherie.
Yeah.
The variance cannot be alleviated by a reasonable method other than a variance and the minimum variance, which would alleviate the practical difficulty. Now, there's probably some issues there. Any comments from anyone on the board? Did someone say something, or is that the background?
Well, this variance request is twice what is allowed, over twice what's allowed, and it's not really clear that there's practical difficulties. So,
Yes, Cherie, yeah. I think that is the issue, and I think probably to the petitioners to make it effective, it's they feel that's the minimum, and whether it could be seen through the trees or things like this. If they stick to the 35-foot maximum, or had a hill on their property, because it's above ground level, I understand, then they could pretty much do as they pleased. And so it's a catch-22. 8, the request is not a use variance and shall not have the effect of allowing any use that is not allowed in the zoning district or permit a lower degree of flood protection than the regulatory flood protection elevation or permit standards lower than those required by state law. I guess that's not an issue here at all, as far as the use is allowed on your own property, as long as you meet it meet the requirements. So, where are we at? Do we want to vote on each finding or condition, or or the criteria board, or do we want to vote on the whole? Anyone? I'll put you on the spot. Phil, do you wish to vote on all of them or one by one?
If I was chair, I guess I would go ahead and take a vote to approve them all or deny.
Okay, I will entertain a motion unless someone else speak up. Anyone? Elizabeth, Rachel, Cherie, me. Otherwise, someone can step forward and make a motion if you wish, or speak otherwise.
Phil would make a motion to vote for either approval or denial of the variance.
Okay, wait a minute, now let's see, I probably have to, all right, to vote on whether you approve or denied. Okay, does everyone agree that we want to vote on not on each finding, but on the whole? We have expressed.
That seems fine with me.
Okay, okay. And we have discussed, everybody's on the record on the individual comments are on the record as the reasoning. And Elizabeth, your name showed up. Did you have a comment? I can't hear anyone. Okay. Then we need someone to make the motion to approve or deny, whichever they wish to make.
This is Cherie. I
Yes.
would make the motion that this variance request be denied. It seems that there's enough things, as we discussed the criteria, that were not met.
Okay, Cherie has made the motion that the petition be denied. Is there a second for that motion?
And just to clarify, does that motion include adopting the findings as presented?
Yes.
This is Rachel. I can second that motion.
Okay, the motion has been seconded by Rachel. And the motion is to deny the petition and including all the findings and the record. And is there discussion on this motion? I'm hearing none, so I'm going to call for the vote. All those in favor of denying this petition, say aye and identify yourself.
Aye, Rachel.
Okay, Rachel. Bob is voting in favor of denying it. And anyone else?
Phil votes to deny.
Okay, Phil. Anyone else wishing to vote to deny? I will also, okay, all those in favor of granting the petition, say the same sign, identify and say aye, or abstain if you wish. I'm hearing no votes, so I will put down
Mr. Chair, perhaps you could ask the two that I didn't hear names, perhaps you could ask them what their votes are or whether they're abstaining for the record.
Okay. Let's see. Well, let's see. I didn't hear Cherie. Cherie, what is your vote? You made the motion.
I did vote, and I
Okay.
voted to deny.
Okay, yeah, I didn't. It didn't come through. Okay, and then Elizabeth. Yeah, yes, I know you made that. Is Elizabeth?
Hello,
Elizabeth, is your vote to
Hello?
deny. Hello, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth?
Oh,
Yes. I hear
Okay,
you.
I vote to deny.
that is Elizabeth. Okay.
I haven't been able to get through at all. I
Yes.
can't ask questions. I had some questions.
Okay. Well, did you want to, because we're voting, did you have questions before you vote?
No, that's okay. We can go on.
Okay.
I
Then,
want to let you know I have been missing some things.
yes, I thought so. There's some cutting in and out. Then occasionally I see your name pop up, so. Okay. Then the board has voted 5-0 to deny this petition. And then I will read so that the petitioners know their rights. And this is that you have a right to appeal to the district court. And all decisions by the Board of Adjustment in granting variances or in hearing appeals from any administrative order, requirement, decision, or determination shall be final, except that any aggrieved person or persons or any department, board, or commission of the jurisdiction or of the state shall have the right to appeal within 30 days after receipt of the notice of the decision to the district court in the county in which the land is located on questions of law and fact. Any party that would like to submit an appeal to the decision rendered at the public hearing must do so to the district court. Planning and Environmental Services is not responsible for filing the appeal or obtaining representation by the counsel for the petitioner. I'm sorry, Fred and Sandra, the variance has been denied by the board, but you do have, as I just read, you have rights. So, having done our work here, I would unless there is something else, I would entertain a motion to adjourn. All those in favor say, well, I guess someone should make the motion.
I so move, Phil.
Okay, Phil moves to adjourn. Is there a second?
I second, Elizabeth.
Okay, Elizabeth seconds. Thank you, Elizabeth. And there will be no discussion, but all those in favor of adjourning say aye.
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 All those opposed say aye also. Okay, the meeting stands adjourned. And thank you all for participating under these difficult circumstances.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a nice job.
Yep, bye.
Bye, guys. Good to see you.
Bye-bye.
Yep. Thank you all.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Yep, thanks, Eric.